Hey there, Algebra 1. So these notes are actually going to be a little bit different than your other video notes. And the thing is that you only need to write down things that are highlighted, as you'll see here. However, I do need to I need you to go ahead and start by labeling your notes. We are section 2.5, and these are called compound inequalities. And to keep to my word, I'm definitely going to highlight this for you. Oops, I'll put it in yellow though. So go ahead and write that down. Okay, so usually in class I kind of stop here and I have everyone talk about things that they notice and that they wonder. So why don't you take a moment and think of things that you notice or wonder about these three inequality graphs. If you want to pause, you're more than welcome to, but hopefully you have something in the back of your mind that in class you would be more than willing to share. But we're going to go ahead, we're going to move on a little bit, and we're going to talk about what a compound inequality is. So a compound inequality is formed by joining two inequalities with the word and or with the word or. And I'm going to get my highlighter out here and I'm going to have you write this down. A compound inequality is formed by joining two inequalities with the word and or with the word or. And if we go back up here and we kind of have that notice and wonder, maybe you can start thinking about where you might see an and where you might see an or. Those words are kind of key there. So when we talk about and inequalities, we talk about numbers that are either greater than something and less than something. So I'm going to start by graphing. I'm going to throw a 0 here on our number line, and we have 2. So I'm going to talk about numbers that are greater than 2. So all those numbers, you guys are experts at graphing that. And then I'm also going to talk about numbers that are less than or equal to 5. So close dot, less than or equal to 5. So when we graph this on a number line, we take the spot, I'll put 0 here, we take this area right in between where they're combined. So what we end up doing, I'm going to take all those dots back, is that we do 2 and 5. So talking about x is greater than 2, so all the numbers greater than 2, but then when I get to 5, I want to close that dot off, and that's how we graph it. Now when we write this, we kind of put x in the middle here, and we say, okay, well, these are numbers that are greater than 2, because that says x is greater than 2, but less than or equal to 5. And what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to actually write this part down right here. All that graphed definitely. So, and inequalities can be written in a special way. So Steph Curry is thinking he can break his old 3-point record, 204 in the 2015-2016 season. This season, he thinks he can hit a number that is greater than 402 and less than or equal to 500. So if you see here, right, we're talking about numbers that are greater than 402 and, so that key and word, less than or equal to 500. And just like I showed you before, is that you put x in the middle on this one. You put your lower number, your higher number, and then you fill in your signs for it. So we're going to put this on the number line. We have 402. I'm not going to put 0 on this one. We have 500. From here, I like to go ahead, I like to put in my dots first and figure out which one is my closed one, which one is my open one, and then we connect them with a line. So hopefully you're following along nice and closely. Example, a number less than 4 and greater than 7. You definitely, I'm going to put highlight all around this page because you need to write this definitely on this one. So let's go, first of all, it's an and, so it's an and. We're going to graph it. So a number less than 4. So I'm going to go ahead and put 0, 4, and -7 because I know that I'm dealing with those numbers there. So a number less than 4. So I'm going to put an open circle here, and I know I'm going to go this way a little bit. And greater than, open circle, -7. And now I can go ahead, I can fill that line in right there. And you can write your inequality by putting your variable in the middle and your two numbers. Now I'm going to fill in my signs. Maybe you did that on your own. Hopefully you did. So just an FYI, 99% of and inequalities look like this. We like to go ahead and kind of call them the dumbbells. They kind of look like dumbbells, right? Especially this one right here, where it has those two ends and then it's connected inside of them. So they are dumbbells. If you wanted to, you can try and write some inequalities for this, just like Steph's asking you on the bottom here. This guy is going to be 1x4, but this guy, I'm going to put those equal signs under. And this one, we have 0x3, and only one of them gets an equal sign. All right, so those were and inequalities. We're going to go ahead and talk a little bit about our or inequalities, because if we remember, a compound inequality is connected with an and or an or. So let's start by thinking about numbers that are less than -2. So I have 0, -2. So less than or equal to -2 this way. All right, and then we have numbers that are greater than 1. So numbers that are this way. Now if you'll see here, there's no overlap on this one. So what you do is that you just go ahead and you combine them. Because they fit into both categories. So you can go ahead, you're going to combine these graphs. So I'm talking about numbers that are greater than 1, but I'm also talking about numbers that are less than or equal to -2. They can fit into either category. And can you go ahead and can you copy this box down right here? And we don't actually rewrite this inequality. We keep it as it is in kind of this or statement. There's no way to combine it like a and statement. So when we talk about numbers or our or inequalities, we're going to go ahead, a number less than 4 or greater than or equal to 11. So I'm dealing with 4 and 11. All right, it's definitely an or inequality because of that keyword. Now I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to throw it on a number line. I have 4, I have 11. So number less than 4, it can be any of those numbers, or greater than 11. And when we write these, we actually go ahead and we can use any variable that you like. We've been using y, so a number less than 4, or don't forget to write or in here. It's the only one with a word in there. Y is greater than 11. Go ahead, you are definitely going to write this section down. So 99% of or inequalities look like this. If you see kind of those two directions that we went in. And Steph again is asking you to write these down. So why don't we go ahead and do this? I'm going to use, we will use y. So y is less than -2 or y is greater than 5. This one is y is less than or equal to 2, or y is greater than or equal to 6. Y is less than or equal to 0, or y is greater than 5. Watch those signs with your inequalities. How'd you do? Did you put them in your head? I hope so. I hope you got them all correct. So now we have to, of course, solve these because you guys are pros at solving. When solving our or inequalities, we're going to go ahead, I'm going to highlight this, solve each inequality separately. You must have the word or in your answer. All right, definitely this is the part where it gets important with solving. Let's even switch colors for you. I like that green. So I'm going to subtract 1 on this one. I get 2x is less than negative 8. I'm going to divide by 2. I'm dividing by a positive here, so I don't need to flip. Divided by a positive, so I don't need to flip. So that's one of them. And then I have minus 3. Negative 2x is less than or equal to negative 4. Now I'm dividing by a negative 2, so I need to flip my sign. We get x is greater than or equal to positive 2. And my full answer here must include that or. So I'm actually going to go ahead, I'm going to rewrite this. I'm going to say x is less than negative 4 or x is greater than or equal to 2. And then I will box my final answer here. So definitely when you have that or in there, you need to have it in your answer. And I'm just going to remind you guys that I hope you were writing this part down. So you need to definitely write that down. When solving and inequalities, we're going to go ahead and there's a little secret step with this, is you can separate into 2 inequalities if it helps you out. That's kind of the secret step. And you must have the answer written as a sandwich or the word and is your answer. If you notice here, we kind of sandwiched it together. So here's the trick with these, is that you can separate it into this inequality. So you can separate it into 6 is greater than or equal to 2x plus 4 over negative 2. And then your other one is this inequality, which is 2x plus 4 over negative 2 is greater than negative 7. And now you have these 2 inequalities that you can solve. We need to multiply by negative 2, multiply by negative 2. Oh, multiplying by a negative. Did you remember to flip your inequality? And then this goes away, leaving us with 2x plus 4. So when you take away 4, negative 16 is less than or equal to 2x. Divide by 2. We get negative 8 is less than or equal to 8. Oh, sorry, less than or equal to x. Now we're not done because we have the other one, but it ends up being kind of the same steps, which is nice. So times negative 2, times a negative. You need to go ahead and flip that inequality. Positive 14. 2x is less than 10. Divide by 2. X is less than 5. Okay, so this is the part where you need to go ahead and we need to sandwich it together. So I'm going to write it in purple, my final answer. So negative 8 less than or equal to x less than 5. And this is my final answer for that and inequality. And please go ahead and make sure that this page is all copied down in your notes. I'm just going to leave you with this one last thought here, because we had that notice and wonder part, is that which one of these doesn't belong in the group? And there's a hint. There's no right or wrong answer. It's just your opinion. Excellent job, Algebra 1. We will see you very soon.